Jen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Because the Pakistanis have an extremely narrow lens and they look at everything from the lens of religion, which is why that country is in such a bad state. It's in a horrible state actually because for them everything is about religion, concerned about the political situation in a certain country, and then they run their radical Islamist agenda. And we'll keep on exposing these guys. Jen friends, I'm Major Gaurav Arya and you're watching the Chanakya Dialogues English. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. So, ladies and gentlemen, the G20 summit in Kashmir Valley is going on peacefully. This is a tourism working group which earlier, they met in Ladakh also, and now of course is being held in Srinagar, Kashmir, and it went off very well. Though China said we'll not come, typical of China, and one or two other countries also said that they will not come. But here, especially for the Pakistani audience, which isn't a very discerning sort of an audience, I think a differentiation needs to be made. China, Saudi Arabia and one or two other countries have said no to taking part in G20 in Kashmir. G20 is happening at a lot of places all over India and they're going to be there in each and every single place. All right? It's only for the tourism working group that they've said that they cannot attend, and it's absolutely fine. I mean, it's country to country. So if they feel that their political interests are not served, if they attend the Kashmir, the meetings in Kashmir regarding tourism of G20, it's absolutely all right. It doesn't harm India in any manner. But what it has done is, given a lease of life to the global understanding of Kashmir. Now, Pakistanis obviously have gone to town saying that this is India's attempt to normalize Kashmir. We didn't know that Kashmir was abnormal. Yeah? Last year, there were 1.6 crore plus tourists. That is more than 16 million tourists came to Kashmir Valley alone. And Kashmir Valley is a small place. It's not a very large landmass. So 1.6 crore people actually landed up in the Kashmir Valley as tourists from all over the world. So as far as normalizing Kashmir goes, I go to Kashmir almost every month or every second month I'm in Kashmir. I mean, I go to Kashmir so many times a year. It's always normal. There is no problem. Small little things keep on happening here and there, but that happens in Uttar Pradesh also. That happens in West Bengal. That happens in Madhya Pradesh. That happens in Karnataka or Kerala or any other place in India. That's okay. But largely Kashmir is peaceful. And we decided to call the world and the world came except for a few people. And that did not stop the summit. So I don't know what the Pakistanis are celebrating about anyway. You see the diplomatic fruits that this will bear for India. It's not about normalizing Kashmir or not normalizing Kashmir because the Pakistanis have an extremely narrow lens and they look at everything from the lens of religion, which is why that country is in such a bad state. It's in a horrible state actually because for them everything is about religion. And that is how they've chosen to, conduct the affairs of their state. Now, I'd like to say that what India has done is an absolute checkmate on this chessboard. So, you have a top-of-the-line summit like the G20 happening in Kashmir. People come, over 100 delegates land up. They stay at the top hotels there. They see your hospitality. They see the way you can professionally conduct such a thing in a place like Kashmir, where a function of this level or a meeting of this level or a summit of this level has never ever happened in 75 years. This happens. Which means that the countries who have chosen to come there accept it. It doesn't matter if China does not come or Saudi Arabia does not come. Saudi Arabia is already investing there. China is investing there. These Hong Kong businessmen, do you think they came to Kashmir without? 3 Hong Kong businessmen came looking for investment and they will invest. Do you think they have come to Kashmir without the permission of the Chinese masters? Absolutely not. So, I don't know what the Pakistanis are getting excited about, but next time President Joe Biden says, I'll come to India, we could take him to Kashmir. He can sit down on the sprawling lawns of the Lalit and have a cup of coffee there and perhaps discuss the future of the world with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. We look forward to welcoming Prime Minister of UK, Rishi Sunak. What about Justin Trudeau? Everybody, the president of France, the prime minister of Italy, you could have the prime minister of Australia there, the prime minister of Japan, all the countries. What about the prime minister of Singapore, of Indonesia? Everybody. We can simply ask them to come to Kashmir. Come to Kashmir. We will provide you whatever you want. A-grade stuff. And the day is not very far after G20. The day is not very far when you'll have heads of state, as I'm saying, heads of state being welcomed in Kashmir. And they will come. The heads of state will come. They might come for various reasons. Maybe they have an eye on China. Maybe they want to pass a message to China. Maybe they genuinely like Kashmir. Maybe it's diplomatic pressure from India. Maybe India has helped some country and India has asked them to come to Kashmir. All these things happen in diplomacy and that's absolutely okay. As long as they come to Kashmir. I want all these people, these heads of state, to come to Srinagar and experience Kashmiri Wazwan. Right? That's a must. So, Bilawal Bhutto has gone ballistic and he says the world is blind and the world has lost all morality. Whenever a Pakistani speaks about morality, it's funny. It's funny. It's Comedy Central. But the thing is that, he has said that, where is the conscience of the world? And he ripped the world apart and he was so angry and he was frothing at the mouth. And what can you do? What can you do? What can you tell these Pakistanis? They have, as I mentioned earlier also, we hold a G20 summit and they say that this is in violation of the UN resolutions on Kashmir. No Pakistani has even read those resolutions. I mean, a few of them may have, but I'm certain Bilawal has not read those resolutions. The resolutions say nothing about holding summits in Kashmir. Absolutely nothing. And anyway, in those UN resolutions, the first step has to be taken by Pakistan. Pakistan has to remove its army. It's written there. But the problem is, Pakistanis don't have a habit of reading. So it's very difficult for Pakistanis to go on the internet, type the UN website address and go to these resolutions and actually find out what they're about. You're expecting too much work from a Pakistani. They'll never do that. Rumor mongering and conspiracy theories are easier. So that's what they subscribe to. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that, Pakistan is very angry, but and so this is a disputed territory and how can India do such and such a thing? Well, if it is a disputed territory and India can't do such and such a thing, why has Pakistan allowed the building of the China-Pakistan economic corridor through Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, which they so proudly call Azad Kashmir? If it's disputed on both the sides. And if it's not disputed, it's fine. You choose to give land to the Chinese. Decades ago, you gifted a part of your so-called beloved state of Jammu and Kashmir, for which every Pakistani child says that when I grow up, I will liberate Kashmir. That you gifted to China. Have some shame. You gifted it to China. Not gifted, you don't gift anything to anybody. You took money from China and you gave it to China. You took hard cash and you sold a piece of land that you claim is your land, which you illegally occupied. So that is the truth of Pakistan. And small little failed shenanigans like, Kashmir Premier League. Where did it go? Your famous Kashmir Premier League? I said it yesterday, I'll say it again. Pakistanis have totally neglected Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. The only thing that they did was they named it Azad Kashmir, so the people there feel very happy. We are free, we are Azad. Those poor guys don't even have a bus stand, a decent bus stand. They don't have decent roads. They have nothing there. They are like absolutely in the doldrums. But what Pakistan will give them is a heady cocktail of radical Islam. Qazwa Hind, and we'll attack the Indians, we'll teach the Hindus a lesson. And while we are teaching the Hindus a lesson, we'll also give a few lessons to the Jews and we'll scare everybody and that's it. That's how that country has been functioning for the past 75 years. Anyway, so friends, in another news, and this is from Bangladesh and relates to the 1971 war, the liberation of Bangladesh, and this is ex-Dutch minister Harry van Bommel, former member of parliament, former minister. He says that even if it takes 100 years to get global recognition of the Armenian genocide, I hope it will not take that long in the case of the Bangladeshi genocide. We want to have it within a few years, even if not decades. Baumel told a press conference at Jatiya Press Club in Dhaka. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to request all Indians and all right-thinking Pakistanis, even though very few of you exist, and other people across the world who are listening to this, always remember one thing. You stand up for things that are right and stand against things that are wrong. This genocide which happened of the Bengali people, 71 and before, is one of the black spots in modern history, and Pakistani army must be held accountable. So, I'm glad that Mr. Baumel is taking this up. I'm happy, and all of us should contribute in any way that we can. I'm going to find out, I'm going to try and get in touch with him and figure out how I can help him. If it is financially, I'll be happy to help him financially. If it is, otherwise, raising awareness of this issue, I'm happy to use the Chanakya Forum and the Chanakya Dialogue platforms to write about this and have experts write about this and spread the word that the Pakistani army is essentially a genocidal army. It needs to be held to account. The Pakistani army is an army that, was unleashed upon the hapless people of East Pakistan, and 3 million of them were killed. 1 million Bengali women were raped, and they just tried to murder their way out of the problem. That is what they did. And then the Mukti Bahini, that is how the Mukti Bahini took birth actually. The Mukti Bahini took birth in the middle of bloodshed. Had there been no bloodshed by the Punjabi Pakistan army, right? Even though Tika Khan had different roots, but largely by that Punjabi Pakistani army. If they had not done such a sort of bloodshed after Operation Searchlight in Bangladesh, there would have been no Mukti Bahini. Things would have been better, but they chose to carry out atrocities on the poor people. And that is why Bangladesh took birth. So, all the best to Mr. Baumel, and we'll help him and we'll support him in any way that we can. Papua New Guinea and Fiji confer their highest civilian award to PM Modi. So, Fiji gives him the award called Companion of the Order of Fiji in recognition for his global leadership. And then Sir Bob Dade, an honor emblematic of the depth of India-Papua New Guinea relationship. Governor General Sir Bob Dade of Papua New Guinea conferred PM Modi with the country's highest civilian award, Grand Companion of the Order of Logohu. Tweeted Ministry of External Affairs. So, again, Prime Minister Modi, he had been, really put on this pedestal by all the Gulf states, especially Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, and UAE, etc. And they said that we recognize your leadership skills and we recognize your leadership, and you're leading the world to a better place. They gave him the highest civilian honor, and now Papua New Guinea and Fiji also conferred the same award. And New Zealand PM Hipkins insisted on flying to Papua New Guinea, especially to meet PM Modi, say sources. So, New Zealand Prime Minister Chris Hipkins, he was in Port Moresby or Moresby, and Prime Minister Modi held bilateral talks with him, and they discussed enhancing ties in various sectors, including commerce, education, IT, tourism, etc. It was the first interaction between the two leaders after Hipkins took over from his predecessor, Jacinda Ardern. In a warm gesture towards India, Hipkins insisted on flying to Papua New Guinea, especially to meet PM Modi, according to sources. So, Hipkins, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, took a special flight and he said, no, I want to meet you wherever you are. He took a flight, he went and met the Prime Minister of India. Had an excellent meeting with New Zealand PM and discussed full range of India-New Zealand relations. We talked about how to improve commercial and cultural linkages between our nations. I think this is what diplomacy is all about. You make new friends, you find grounds of common interest and you take it forward. And my salute to the New Zealand, Prime Minister for taking this very, very bold step and very generous step and going all the way to another country to meet Prime Minister Modi. Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much. The last news that I have for the day is that, so in Birmingham in UK, ladies and gentlemen, the Kerala story was being screened, and Shakil Afsar, a radical Islamist and Al-Qaeda supporter, all these guys, they come from whichever countries they come. But they don't leave their ideology behind. It's that same radical Islamist ideology. Kill the infidel, kill anybody who's a non-believer, kill the believer who does not believe in us, kill everybody, harm this, harm that. So this is, and UK deserves it. UK, why there is no terrorism in Russia? Why there is no terrorism in China? Think about it for a moment. North Korea, of course, there is nothing of anything in North Korea. But why isn't there any terrorism in China? Because they come down very, very harshly on terrorists. Very harshly. People have tried in Russia and they've gone, their families have disappeared. I'm not saying this is the right thing to do, but that is how Russia does it. It doesn't matter if I don't approve of it or not. So what I'm saying is that this Shakil Afsar barges into a cinema hall. Earlier, he barged into a Hindu puja some time back with 200 men, and they barged into some place. I read in the media somewhere that they barged in. So he does not, Shakil Afsar comes to a predominantly Christian country and he hates everybody. He wants Britain totally Islamized. Like that guy, Anjum Chaudhary, that crackpot of a cleric, Anjum Chaudhary, I don't know if you've heard of him, who said that the Buckingham Palace should be a mosque and the Queen should convert to Islam. This is exactly the mindset that these people have when they come to UK. And they come for a better opportunity and then they destroy the very country which gives them refuge. They destroy the very country that takes them in. They abuse the hospitality of that country. So, they need to be dealt with firmly. Now, what happened was that they barged into the cinema hall showing the Kerala story and they said, no, this is wrong. The British government, their censor board has approved the Kerala story. These societies are based on free thought. Western societies are based on the premise of free thought and free expression and freedom of speech. That is what it is all about. And these people, people like this Afsar Shakil, they come from I don't know where, and whichever, I'm not saying that the countries they come from are good or bad, I'm not commenting on that. It could be any country. He could very well be from India or from Pakistan or from Bangladesh or any other country. So I'm not commenting on the country per se. What I am saying is that you carry your virus with you into other countries. This is like COVID. Such people should not be allowed to travel. They should be quarantined within their own countries. Like it happened in case of COVID, you're not allowed to go out anywhere and everybody is quarantined for a very long time. So what these people do is, people like this Shakil Afsar, they have hatred for all the other religions. There is this hatred for everybody. It is just that they can't do anything against the Christians in the UK. The day Christians become a sort of a minority, they'll start subjugating the Christians also in the UK. And there are many places in London which I've personally, from a distance observed. There are no-go areas. There are absolutely no-go areas for anybody else. These radical Islamists have taken hold. They trouble common Muslims who just want to do their work. They trouble everybody. They're like this mafia there. And perhaps they need a China or a Russia. I don't know. But they stopped the screening of the Kerala story. They just made this movie, the Kerala story, more famous. They don't realize that. It'll go on OTT. And what will you do? What are you going to do? Attack the Netflix headquarters or what? Or attack the Amazon headquarters? What are you going to do? So the thing is that, these things, when you go to a new country, you must accept their ethics, their morality, their way of doing things, You can't carry what you already had with you. Because if what you had with you, when you left your original country, if that was so good, why did you move to the new country? Why did you move to the UK? If you had to live in the same gutter, you could have very well stayed back, wherever you are. And I'm not saying which country you're from. This guy could be from anywhere. They say Kashmiri activist. So Kashmiri activist could be from here or there. So you stayed there. What prompted you to go and spoil another society? All under the guise, you look at this guy's social media profile, human rights activist. Human rights activist. This is how they hide. This is how these radical Islamists take advantage of Western democracy. They hide behind, these facades of human rights activists and, concerned about the political situation in a certain country, and then they run their radical Islamist agenda. And, we'll keep on exposing these guys. Keep on exposing these guys. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for, sorry. This is for Bilawal Bhutto. Yeah? Bilawal, wherever you feel intense burning sensation, just apply it there. It works wonders. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please press the like button, subscribe to our channel and don't forget to press the bell icon. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram, Bharat Mata ki Jai.